Hi, I'm Dark Shades, and if you're planning a trip to Spain, I'm just going to give you a few trips just based on my experience. The first thing is that um, when you're booking your flight and you are planning around whether or not you want all inclusive, what kind of hotel you're going to get, or when you get one of these package deals, make sure it includes the transfers. The transfers can work out very expensive if you haven't included it, and make sure you've paid for the transfer in advance there and back. That's really important. Also, it's good if you're going to Luton Airport to pay an extra fiver for your baggage, because it guarantees you priority going onto the plane. I mean, a lot of people, they just want to hold on to their bags so they can get out of the airport quick and do what they want to do. They don't want to wait for the bag to go round and round and look for their bag. But I found it useful because you did get on before anyone else. But coming off, it's not the same. And also, when we came back, I noticed that they were asking for volunteers to put their bags in the hold all, and they didn't have to pay the extra €5. So I think it depends on what time your flight was. I mean, that was a midnight flight coming back, so maybe that was the reason. Anyway, going to Spain, we chose a hotel that was in Mallorca on South Arenal. It's just right near the beach, walking distance, wonderful location. However, the idea of all-inclusive, and I know it was a three-star hotel, but it conjured up food, access to food all day and all night. I don't know, maybe that was my naivety, but the food was presented or available between 7:30 in the morning and 9:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon until 3 in the afternoon, and then 6 in the evening until 8 in the evening. That was the only time you could access food. The food was quite basic, but it looked clean. I wondered if all-inclusive meant the insect I had on my plate, because there was one walking around, and when I showed it to the guy who was serving the food, he just shrugged his shoulders as though, what do you expect me to do about it? It's just an insect. I was a bit disappointed with that. I did think about taking a photograph of the insect, but I just thought, you know what, just leave it. I've almost finished. Goodness knows how many I must have eaten by the time I noticed that one. But hey, that's how it goes sometimes. All-inclusive also probably meant the mosquitoes. I got massive mosquito bites. So next time I'll make sure I'm drinking Guinness about a week before, because they reckon it makes the blood bitter and the mosquitoes don't like it. And I'll make sure when I go there I'll drink gin and tonic instead of those basic cocktails that they serve up. When you watch Benidorm, you see those fancy cocktails where they shake it and they put a little umbrella and some fruit. Well, in this hotel they just got this big plastic glass, poured in this pre-made pina colada juice, put on some lemon and some alcohol, and that was it. They served it to you with no little finesse or effort. Even the sex on the beach, nothing, just a couple of drinks poured in with some syrup and some lime or whatever they put in it. No effort. So it's quite disappointing, that aspect of it. Very, very basic. I ended up having rum and coke in the end because it tasted better than the cocktails. The euro, we all know that the euro is now more or less parallel with the pound. I think I got €102 for £100. So when you're going down the promenade and seeing all the shops, and there were some beautiful little t-shirt type tops I wanted to get for my family members, but it was like €19.99. Over here you'd get it for about €1.99. And because it's €19.99, I don't know whether they're thinking about the psychology of the euro, the old psychology of the euro. But remember, since Brexit, we're parallel. It's no longer a bargain. But they've kept those prices up, and it's not worth buying anything. There was a shop where I managed to get a couple of items for, I think, about €2 or €3. But, they were just like things that you put on the fridge, like little ornaments or little bangles. Nothing substantive. Yeah, or going down the promenade, plenty of places to eat. It reminded me of Paris, only much more um, friendlier because you've got people coming out and asking you if you want to sit and eat and stuff like that. Of course, it's all inclusive. You don't really want to pay extra for the food. I did think about buying a plate of paella because they didn't serve that in the hotel. But I changed my mind in the end because even though the pictures looked beautiful, there was no guarantee that the food was going to look just how it looked in the picture, so I decided not to. It's worth paying €4.50 to go on the trip around. I think it's about 6 kilometres around the island or the part where we were. You see parts that you wouldn't normally see, and whether or not you was allowed to get off one stop, and then you'd get a different um, one of those buses back, whatever they were. So that was okay. Spain, you're guaranteed you're going to buck up into English speaking people, which is always refreshing. Mind you, the majority of people were German. Even the streets were named after Germany. Like I saw a road called Berlin something or other. And yes, so many German bars and so many Germans. It was quite surprising, but I guess if you think Germany is a bit like England, the weather isn't really that great, and I guess Spain isn't that far away. So, if you want some sun, I guess it's the next stop. I mean, Spain is really great, a great place to go, because I'm from the Caribbean originally, where my parents are. I'm born in the UK. And, to go to Jamaica, you got a 7 or 8 hour flight, if not more, and you're experiencing the same kind of the mosquitoes, and you get the sun. Of course, you don't get the Jamaican food, which I love, but I am able to make that. So Spain is the next best thing to going to the Caribbean. Yeah, I wouldn't knock that at all, providing you need to plan well and do your investigation. I think when I go next time, I'll make sure that all inclusive does mean all inclusive. I'll ask for pictures of the rooms because our room was so basic. 2 single beds separated. They were heavy, so you couldn't move them even if you wanted to. I didn't want to move mine, but if you had wanted to, you couldn't move them. No tea or coffee in the room, no water. You had to pay for the remote. If you wanted Wi-Fi, you had to pay €8 a day. Things like that, was quite disappointing. But I'm not a TV buff. And, even the programs, I didn't even need the remote because all the programs were either in Spanish or German. I saw Monk and it had the music and everything. I thought, great, Monk, something in English. And he started speaking German. I was so disappointed. I ended up with a music channel. So, yeah, you could, with everything, every choice you make, there's the good and the bad. I think the good far outweighed the bad. I would definitely go there again. Like I said, I would protect my skin more. I would go with some spray because the spray they were selling there was like €10 for some spray. So it was quite expensive. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Yeah, I think, one more thing. If you've got a night flight, I foolishly pay for an extra night because our flight was at midnight, and when I was in Paris I remember checking at 11 o'clock and hanging around the streets until 9 at night when our flight was, and I didn't want to do that again, so I paid an extra £130 for an extra night, even though I wasn't going to sleep there, just so we'd have access to the hotel until it was time to leave. The transfer ended up coming at 8:30, so I didn't get much of benefit, but at least we were able to eat the dinner, the lunch and the breakfast on that day. However, we learnt later on that we could have just paid €20. We wouldn't have had access to the food, but could have paid €20 and stay there until the transfer bus came. So unlike Paris, they didn't give us that option that all the hotels were full. So it might be an idea. I mean, they won't be able to guarantee, I guess, in advance that they're going to have availability on the day, so you're taking a risk. But it's worth looking into rather than paying an extra £130 that I paid. €20, I could have sat there until, you can buy drinks and stuff until the transfer came. Anyway, I hope those, the information I've given you has helped you decide whether or not Spain is for you, and, the ups and the downs of the journey. So, yeah, that's about it, I think. Take care for now.